So now I'm just gonna go over the modern prelim results that I was in earlier today. I realized that I recorded it, great quality and all. But one thing that I did is, as soon as I was done with my first match, I went ahead and got back in to make the stream. Since he's a pretty great Magic Gathering player, and I have a lot of respect for him because that man totally knows what he's doing as far as Magic goes. So right before it started, I told him later and good luck, close the stream, and I started playing the modern prelims. I don't know if I should say it was lucky for me or unlucky for me in this case, but my first opponent was none other than Doomwick. So, because he was my first opponent, I, went ahead and played that game. So, this here is my first game in this modern prelim, and it's up against the man, the myth, the legend himself, Doomwick. By the way, this is also someone who played a version of my deck like less than a week ago. So needless to say, he completely understood exactly how the deck works. Twitch notification as usual. Alright, so let's get going with this. Alright, so first game to me, of course, here you see Doomwick saying good luck XD because he realized it was me because he was wondering if I was even in the tournament. I went back and watched the stream and he was asking the chat if I was in the tournament. Then after scrolling through the list, he realized I was in it. And sure enough, we got matched up against each other. Alright, so for me here, this is an easy keep. Tron on turn 3, definitely a win. But I also understand that I'm on the draw here, so Doom definitely has an advantage. Alright, so obviously you see here a lot of one-cost creatures hitting the battlefield with prowess triggers going off because of casting spells like lightning bolts. For me here, I'm just trying to get the Tron as quick as possible, so Tron can do Tron stuff. Alright, so he plays a third land. Here I was a little worried about a Blood Moon, but hey, I was just trying to get Tron online because that's what my deck tries to do at first, so I'm just letting the deck do what it does naturally in its own. So, end up going to end step here. As soon as I saw him cast the Seasoned Pyromancer, I knew there was no Cleansing Wildfire that was going to hit this turn. At least it wasn't going to be something that, potentially made me have to sack a land. Or I guess I should say the politically correct term. He wasn't going to destroy any of my lands right off the bat, so went ahead and cracked a Sphere. Played Oath of Nissa, and then I got a Karn. And at first I was like, yes, I can play Karn, but then I was like, oh no, I don't have enough mana. Alright, so since I don't have enough mana, I'll play the next best option, which is Nicol Bolas Dragon God. So here when I played Nicol Bolas Dragon God, I was just looking at the battlefield thinking, what is the most powerful threat on the battlefield? And of course, Seasoned Pyromancer is absolutely the most, threatening card on the battlefield just because it's a 2/2. So, went ahead and destroyed it with Nicol Bolas. Fast turn. Then on the next turn, Stomp casted, targeting me, of course. Which I think was an excellent play because he didn't waste any damage really at all on Nicol Bolas. All came straight to me. Here when I saw that he attacked and Nicol Bulls died, though I was kind of surprised, but I guess he used the 1/1 elemental here to attack Nicol Bulls. Hey, but that was good enough to get the job done for that turn. Here, just go ahead and cast Karn, and actually it looks like I played my second Oath first, just to see if I can get a Planeswalker to Ultimate with Doubling Season, but came up a little bit short on that, so casting Karn Liberated is the next best thing. And exiling one of his creatures with prowess is definitely the best option here. So that's what I went ahead and did. But I also understood that if he drew a lightning bolt, I was dead. So, you know, I wasn't really how do I even say it? I did not expect to get past this turn because just the threat of a bolt on the top, like, it's a burn deck, so it plays a lot of lightning bolts, you know what I mean? So, or burn spells in general that deal damage. So, I was not upset at all with the way how that match went. In fact, I felt like it was pretty close because, like you all can see here, I was pretty close to ultimating a Planeswalker. Granted, I don't know which Planeswalker I would have gotten, but since I'm here, let's see, can I draw a card? Nope, the draw card function does not work right here, so I cannot draw a card to see what I would have gotten. Let's throw my man Nicol Bolas up here, so I can go load up the second game. Alright, so this is the second game against Doomwick. And of course he was playing Burn. I think the name of the companion is Abash or something like that. But starting out here, let's see what my hand looks like. Of course I'm going to choose to go first. Now hand-wise, definitely was an okay hand. Yeah, Abash was the companion here that Doom was using. And with this hand, I don't think I kept this hand just because I understood how fast his deck could be, so I think I mulliganed. Yes, I did. So now when I mulliganed, I'm trying to figure out exactly what plays I made here to see if I have the same mindset as before. I'm probably going to put Jace to the bottom, and then keep, just because I can't cast the Jace anytime soon. So Doom mulligans to 5 cards, which is kind of surprising for me, but hey, I'm okay with it. So I went ahead and put a power plant out there. Next turn, a tower. I end up drawing an Emrakul, which is absolutely useless. So now the issue was I have to find something that will help me get my last strong piece. Lucky for me, I end up finding a forest, using it, and a mine was in my top 3 cards. So of course I chose the mine. Pass turn back to my opponent. Then there was a Blood Moon out here. So with the Blood Moon, I was thinking to myself, so since it's Blood Moon in play, I'm gonna need to have to completely play around it. So I was like wondering what the best way to get around it was, and best option I had was to just go ahead and, you know, play Karn Great Creator and hope it became a distraction. But my opponent played Pithing Needle on Karn Grey Creator and Pithing Needle on Karn Liberated. Along with a Blood Moon, which is a lot. That's a lot of hate for Tron right there. So, I knew they didn't have to fear Karns at all. Ended up drawing into a Samet, and I figured, you know what, playing Samet's better than playing Gideon right now. So, went ahead and casted Samet the Tested, dealt 2 damage to Monastery's Spear to kill it, and then I passed the turn. So, on my opponent's turn, casted another Blood Moon, and swung and killed my Samet, which absolutely the best play. On my turn, I decided now or never to really go ahead and cast Samet Tested, so casted Samet. I think I went ahead and got, let's see, which land I get. Okay, I guess it doesn't show me what land I got. It should though. My reveal zone maybe? Yeah, I went ahead and got a... Nope. I think I ended up getting a Blast Zone. I'm pretty sure. But either ways, I went ahead and got a land. Either Blast Zone or Cascading Cataracts, one of the two. But I think it's Blast Zone. But either ways, went ahead and got a land. After I got the land, I'll go straight back to playing again. And I noticed here that my opponent was off of whatever special ability that this land was doing while it was in play. But it's not like he was doing anything anyways. It was just another mountain. But that did stand out to me while I was playing the game, because I was like, wait a second, what else? What other color does he want? But it wasn't colored mana, it was just another red mana. So here, of course, opponent puts the companion into play. I think last turn they put the companion in the hand. This turn for me, went ahead and cast a Doubling Season and a Chromatic Star, and of course I'm not going to attack. Now, here is where it gets kind of dicey. I was thinking to myself, can I actually absorb an attack from the Abosh right here and still live? And I was like, since what, it's sources with an odd converted mana cost deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. So definitely would have killed my Golos, so I was like, I want my Golos to stick around for one more turn just to see what happens. So I ended up not blocking. Like at first I thought I was going to block, then I was like, nah, I'll just absorb the damage. Because if I block, it could potentially be worse for me. So then after that, next turn just ended up drawing an expedition map here, which is absolutely no good. Cracked my star just to see what I came out on top, and I got a 7 scrying. So I went ahead and fetched for a forest, since it's the only land that comes out, not a mountain. And I'm just trying to get some diversity in my lands here. And at first I was going to fetch a land with expedition map, but I chose not to. Of course, I skipped my attack phase there. And opponent plays a second Monastery Spear and attacks me with all 3 creatures, and since I cannot absorb the damage, I decided to go ahead and block. But at the same time, I also knew that I was dead to a burn spell again, so not a good position for me to be in. And when a Soul Scar Mage got casted, I felt a sigh of relief, to say the least, because the pressure was definitely on my end. So I cracked the expedition map, went to go find a tower, and I top decked the Planeswalker, in this case, Jace Cunning Castaway. And the goal for me here was to make a bunch of Jace Cunning Castaway tokens and use those tokens to make a bunch of creatures, and then pass to my opponent's turn. No, I completely understood that I would dead to a burn spell, so if there was a burn spell off the top, I would have died. So I just barely managed to squeeze the win out there. But hey, a win is a win, so I will take it. Alright, we get set up for game number 3. Alright, here we go for game number 3. Alright, so in game number 3, obviously we both know what each other's playing here. At this point, I'm just trying to get the Tron first. Get the Tron before, you know, they burn me to death. So I end up drawing a tower power plant in my hand, which I knew goes extremely nicely with a star and a Sylvan Scrying. Jace here is probably the only thing that didn't really fit it along with this tower, but to me that was okay. Also, opponent began the game with 7 cards in hand, which for me was kind of scary. So I went ahead and played a power plant, played Chromatic Star. That's turn to my turn. Went ahead and cracked the star on my turn to go ahead and play the tower, you know, get natural Tron here. And I drew into my second card Liberated, which was both good and bad. And then as soon as I realized that my opponent got mana screwed, I was thinking to myself, the best thing to do here would absolutely be to just go ahead and exile the land. Because if my opponent's mana screwed, then they can't play spells. And if they can't play spells, they can't win games. So, of course, I went ahead and exiled the land. But I did that knowing full and well that Karn Liberated would be dead next turn. Then I went ahead and when I drew a card this time, I drew another card. So went ahead and casted my other card, exiled the Bombat Carrier. Just to stop my opponent from, you know, getting card advantage here. And sure enough, my other card, Liberated, died. So I went ahead and cast it again. And played another card, Liberated, and exiled the land again. But also this time I was able to have 5 mana left, so I went ahead and casted Golos and got a Cascading Cataracts. And at that point in time, that's when the game was over. So, all said and done, I would say games were played extremely great by my opponent. I won't say it's luck on my part, because it's more deck building than luck. Especially, you know, coming from someone who's been working on this deck forever. It's more deck building than luck. But at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that 2 of these games were so close to the point that, you know, you couldn't really breathe. Like, it's kind of nerve-wracking sitting here, like, wondering if they top deck a burn spell or something of that sort. So, yeah, that was a very, very intense game on my part. But I was able to squeeze the win out, so, you know, I'm happy about that. Now, since I messed up the first one and I did not record it correctly, I'm gonna go ahead and record that again.